Hey, why don't I take a step back? Why don't we go a bit holistic on this and say what is happening with global EV sales? It seems to me, to my untrained eye, that they're stuttering somewhat. But is that the case?
If you look at the global EV sales this year, there's been a huge bifurcation between BEVs and PHEVs, right? On the BEV side, things have definitely slowed down because some of the subsidies have been pulled back, particularly in Europe and in North America. But if you look at China, EV sales have been really good. EV sales are up close to 40% this year, mainly driven by PHEVs, or what we call hybrids, in China. And that basically has taken the NEV penetration rate to more than 50% now in China, mainly because of the PHEVs and also lower price cars, which is what the Mona car is going to be inside that price segment of 100 to 150,000, which is kind of the more mass market car, which is going to be a very price friendly car for everyone.
Again, before we go into the specifics, because there's so many ways we can take the story, why are people buying more hybrids? And I see that trend in Europe as well, when these are essentially internal combustion engines with a little bit of electricity chucked on the side as well. They're by and large still using hydrocarbons. This isn't the brave new world.
I think why people are buying PHEVs is that a lot of the charging infrastructure around the world is still not fully established, right? Particularly in developed world, where in places like the US, in places like Europe, where there's a lot of landmass, and even in China. And in cold weather, we also see some of the batteries not working as well. So I think PHEVs is that good bridge for the two. If you're driving to work, you don't need a whole lot of distance. You're only driving 150 kilometers back and forth. That would be enough, right? And then if you want to go on a vacation, then you can charge your car on the highway. That will give you the longer distance. So this kind of fits the bill for both the everyday driver going to work and also if you want to go on a more longer distance vacation, right?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that's been at play here is also just the low cost EVs as well. That has been a big question mark, especially for the likes of Tesla, Johnson. How much impact is that actually having on this market, the need for that, and the fact that you aren't necessarily getting it from some of the European players, but a lot more from the brands in Asia?
So I think one thing that we saw in China this year, and I think the overseas markets will also see happen in the next few years, is that for the first time ever, we saw EVs that were priced cheaper than ICE cars for the first time. When BYD launched the Qing Plus DMI at the beginning of the year, they cut the price from 99,800 to 79,800. So for the first time ever, that car was cheaper than the Toyota Corolla, which would be a comparable. So I think that kind of shocked a lot of the traditional ICE cars, because now we don't need to calculate, oh, what are my fuel savings over the next 3 years if I use more electricity. Now the price of the car is even cheaper, on top of the fact that you also are going to get a lot more distance for the same amount of money you spent on fuel, right, which is electricity.